Jenny was the doctor's daughter, and that was all that she lived for. Since waking up in the only home she had ever known, she was drawn to the stars. She had her father's legacy to look up to, after all. Just today, she had saved the city moon of Delia from invading extraterrestrial forces, running right into the conflict as soon as she got the distress signal. She had never been more happy with her decision to run away. Truthfully, the running was the best part. She had received a hero's welcome from the people of Delia, their fishy, lizard-like appearance reminding her so much of the Hath. She had recently heard through her travels that a human-Hath alliance had brought a new era of peace to what was once her home planet. Now the whole universe was her home, and she loved it. She had never seen so many other societies and civilizations in her life, so much culture, so much history. She had even looked into her father's past, but had been unsuccessful for the most part. Whoever the Time Lords were, they must have been incredibly secretive. But for now, she just wanted to enjoy a night of celebration. If there was one thing she knew about the Doctor, it was that he never hung around. Jenny, on the other hand, loved to meet the people that she saved, and they, for the most part, enjoyed her presence too. She entered one of the only surviving buildings in the city. Tonight, a party hall, transformed by lanterns and music. People of many species, not limited to the natives of Delia, came en masse to celebrate their newfound freedom and promises of peace. There was a great cheer as Jenny entered the hall, greeting those that she had fought alongside earlier that day. They offered her countless gifts, which she turned down politely. These people had little. She would never dream of taking anything from them. As she moved into the party, she quickly found herself recounting her escapades to a rapt audience. One resident shook her hand so enthusiastically she thought she might regenerate.
It's truly cannot express how thankful we are for you. Drinks are on me tonight,
the man exclaimed. Jenny was shocked by this gesture.
There really is no need,
she said, taken aback by the kindness of the locals. Their generosity shone, and she made a vow to herself that she would ensure they rebuilt their once beautiful city. The kind old man took her hand once again.
You saved us all. It's the least we can do,
he whispered gently.
Really, there's no need. This is just my life. I don't do it for reward, but because it is what is right and what is just. One time, I had to rescue an entire platoon of Chidoon who had accidentally landed on a melting acid
Suddenly,
lake.
the locals were once again entranced by the tales of her greatest encounters that all they could do was simply sit and listen intently. The hours passed by like seconds, glowing with life and happiness. The crowd began to cheer.
3 cheers for our hero Jenny, the Doctor's daughter.
1, 2, 3!
On 3, the doors burst inwards. The room fell silent. All the partygoers were watching the silhouetted figure in the door. The figure solidified into the form of a woman with an explosion of curly hair, lit up like a halo by the light flowing through the door. She strode into the room, captivating all with her confidence and slightly menacing aura, not to mention with the huge laser rifle at her hip. Jenny got to her feet, shielding as many civilians as she could with her body. The woman just looked her up and down, smiling, and lifted the sunglasses from her eyes.
I'm looking for the Doctor.
You won't find him here,
said Jenny.
Oh, I heard he'd just been here. Something about saving the local people from certain doom, usual stuff. Has he gone already?
Jenny was about to say something, but before she could even open her mouth, one of the bartenders, a young blonde woman, piped up.
We weren't saved by the Doctor, miss. We were saved by her,
she said, gesturing towards the bristling Jenny.
Our hero, Jenny.
Oh,
said the curly-haired woman, who then began laughing.
Never mind then, I was just looking for my ridiculous husband. I thought I might have found him here, but clearly I was mistaken.
She happily slid into a stool at the bar beside Jenny as the people began to party once again, more warily this time. The woman scrutinized Jenny for a moment before offering her hand.
Riversong. The name's Professor Riversong.
Jenny shook her hand, cautiously.
I'm Jenny,
the Doctor's daughter. Yes, I know, I've heard it many times.
Jenny pauses with a slight trepidation as she finally realizes. She questioned.
Hang on. You said he was your husband.
River paused and slowly nodded.
You know, he's never told me about you before.
Jenny's face fell.
Really?
Oh, yes.
River noticed Jenny's face filling with disappointment.
But don't worry, he doesn't tell me much. I have to find it out myself, one way or another.
She said calmly, her hand gently tapping at the gun at her hip.
Me and him, we have, well, a complicated relationship.
Remarked River.
Complicated?
Said Jenny, looking at River, whose suave and dangerous demeanor seemed to suggest it was extremely complicated.
Oh, yes, dear. But I am still surprised. This isn't something I'd have expected from him. I thought I would have heard if he'd had, well, I don't know, a fling.
Jenny's eyes suddenly went wide.
No, technically, I'm more of his clone. There isn't anyone else.
Oh, fascinating.
Anyway, he thinks I'm dead. I only met him the one time, you know.
As the blonde bartender set up a pair of drinks before the two, River's eyes sparked appreciatively and she downed a long sip of the golden liquid in her cup.
Oh, isn't that sad? I mean, he probably thinks I'm dead too. I have this nasty habit of meeting him in the wrong order.
Is that why you're looking for him now? To see him again?
Oh, yes, I need to have a word with him, leaving me alone on Beryllium after 24 years. The most lovely date, and he just abandoned me there the second it was over. I've been looking for almost a year now, but I just can't find him.
Oh.
Murmured Jenny, face falling.
Well, I was hoping to see him again too. But if you can't find him, I doubt I ever could.
Why are you looking for him, dear? You seem to have made a wonderful name for yourself here without his help.
I just want to know more about, well, who I am, who he is. I never met someone like him before.
Me neither,
Murmured River.
You know, I met the doctor once. It was brilliant. I don't think you could ever get rid of him, for good.
Remarked the bartender knowingly.
You'll both just have to keep looking and he'll turn up.
River and Jenny shared a look.
I'm sure if we work together,
Said Jenny.
We'll find him quicker.
Finished River.
well then,
Jenny said, quickly finishing off her drink.
I suppose the question becomes, when do we start?